Hey! Hey! How are you?
Oh my
So good
God.
to see you.
Long time no
I
see.
know. It's been too long.
Oh my goodness, thank
Come on
you so
in.
much.
Make yourself at home.
Do you call yourself an addict now, or is that
It bothers my best friend a lot.
why?
She says, I hate that you classify yourself as an addict. I think it was just a phase for you. Which she doesn't understand because she's not an addict, and I know it's not a phase for me because I still drink here and there. And if I'm not careful, I'll start drinking, almost every night of the week. I'll have a couple beers every night. I'm not getting wasted or anything, but I'm an addict because I like the feeling of not being myself.
Can you describe that desperation, like the feeling in someone's mind when they're going through this?
In your brain, you know that you have to breathe to survive, you have to eat to survive, you have to sleep to survive. When you're on drugs, those things go away. It becomes doing drugs is number one. You're in survival mode. And that's why, like I told you earlier, so many people will do the craziest things that you could have known them your whole entire life and never in your life thought that they would do something so horrible, or rob their own mother or steal their own mother's wedding ring. That's just, who would do that? But to that person, or to me, it was surviving. It was whether or not I was going to live in my mind, You hate yourself. Half the time when I was using, I would almost hope that the next one would kill me. So I didn't have to keep putting my family through worrying about me all day long, or, seeing my stepson worrying about his parents, I started using opiates every single day almost, faithfully, 18 years old. I went to rehab 1, 2, 3, 5 times. 6 months after I turned 21, I went to rehab again. I met Steven a month after I turned 21, my fiance. We started using every day together. That's when we were kind of like partners in crime, and it just went out of control. I started using, heroin every single day about a month into our relationship, and it hit the fan from there.
Do you remember like your lowest point that is kind of a reminder to you of like where you never want to go back to?
I feel like one of the really low points for me was I had gotten high and somehow fallen out. Sorry. And my stepson found me. And I still had everything out.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was horrible. It would have been horrible no matter what age he was, but he was old enough to he knew what everything was. And that was a really low point, and that was not that long before the last time I was using, when we got clean. Yeah. I feel like any time when kids are involved, it's just, kids don't have a choice. Kids don't get to choose their parents, And I just thank God I was able to change before my daughter was born. And I debated a lot on whether or not, like I told you, if I wanted to be anonymous or not. But I just feel like today, there's so many people who are ashamed of being an addict. And you shouldn't be. I know so many people who are so scared of their family finding out that they are an addict, or don't even want to admit it to themselves that they have a problem. And that's what stops them from getting help. And they end up dying.
I think that even just you sharing your story, like, people won't realize until they hear it that they're not alone in that.
I just really hope that in the next year, 2 years, that we see more people getting clean than we do dying, because in this last 2 years that I've gotten off drugs, I've just seen way too many people die, overdose. So this September, I want to say 15th, I will be 2 years off heroin, off opiates, off drugs, any drug besides methadone. I started the methadone program 2 years ago from September. It's almost 2 years in a couple months. I came up on a year clean, and then 2 weeks later my daughter was born, which was kind of awesome. And then she'll be a year old right after my 2-year anniversary of being off drugs. And it's just been a long road.
Yeah.
Even my worst day clean beats my best day using, 10 times over for sure. I can't even say I ever had a best day using, because I told you I'd gone to rehab 6 times, and you may talk to addicts that still think using is fun, and maybe for the first 2 times I went to rehab it was still fun, but the fun wears off very quick.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a chore, a job to try and stay well. My life is just out of this world. I drive a minivan and I love it. I get to take my daughter to work with me every day and I love it.